Hello everybody and welcome to another video where I embarrass myself by trying to answer Python quizzes. In the first video for this, I thought this was going to be a breeze, this was going to be very easy and simple, but it turns out the questions and the quizzes I found are actually very challenging, and there's a lot of really strange and obscure questions in there. Not necessarily complaining, just stating that they have some really kind of weird things in the quiz that I wouldn't have expected and that I haven't actually seen in Python before. With that said, hopefully you guys are looking forward to watching me try to do this. As always, please follow along. Let me know how you guys do in the comments down below, and maybe it will make me feel better if I fail any of these quizzes. With that said, I do of course need to give you a quiz. If you watched the last video, you'd know what this is, but the question that I'm going to ask you is what is the sponsor of this video, and you need to watch the next minute to find that out. Before we get started, I need to thank Linode for sponsoring this video. I've been using and working with Linode for nearly 3 years now, and they've consistently been my go-to choice for hosting my applications and servers. In fact, right now I'm using Linode to host the official Tech with Tim Discord bot, a website, multiple of my domains, and a Kubernetes cluster. Linode makes it super easy to spin up servers with their one-click app marketplace and have tons of written guides and YouTube videos on their channel to help you get started. Now, if you're having any issues, you can reach out to their 24/7 support team and actually talk with a real human being. Now, Linode's pricing is simple with no hidden fees and full transparency, and you can test out Linode services for free by using the link in the description and claiming an $100 60-day credit for any new accounts. It's been an absolute pleasure to work with Linode over the past few years, and one last thank you to them for sponsoring this video. Alright, so let's dive in here. There's a bunch of quizzes. They are a lot harder than they look. I'm probably going to get a bunch of questions wrong, but I was thinking we would do the Python lists and tuples. So let's do this one. This quiz contains 11 questions. Let's start this up, and let's see how hard this one is. Okay, which of the following are true of Python lists? All elements in a list must be the same type. Not true. There's no conceptual limit to the size of a list. I don't think there is, so I'm going to check that, but yeah, I don't think there's any limit to a list, although there must be some limit, but I guess that's based on your computer. A list may contain any type of object except another list. False, it can contain a list. A given object may appear more than once in a list, okay? And these represent the same list. No, they don't. Okay, so there we go. That was an easy one to start. Assume the following list definitions. Several short REPL sessions are shown below, which displays the correct output. Okay, so A: is A. No, that's not true. That would be false because this is a copy, so it won't be the same object. The max of A from 2 to 4 plus Gralt. Okay, 2 to 4 is this to this because you don't include the last one, so Baz and Quux. And then we're adding something that starts with a G. The max is going to be a Q when you're doing character equivalence here, so I think that's correct. We have A at 4 and then stepping by -2. So let's go here. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So start here. Step -2, get that. Step -2, get that. So that is going to be Quux, Baz, Foo. Wherever you say that. That looks correct to me. A at -6, list index out of range. Let's see. -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6. All right, so no, that's not going to be correct because this will actually work. A -6 should give you Foo, right? But it's saying it's going to be index out of range. Okay, and then print A -5 to -3. So -5 is -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. Okay, and then you're going to -3, which is here. So you should just get bar and Baz, which is what you get. And do we get those correct? Nice. Okay, next question. All right, so consider the following nested list definition. What is the expression that returns the Z in Baz? Okay, so we're going to need a bunch of indexes here. Let's just start this. So that's X. This list is at index 1, so we go 1. Then we have this list, which is at index 2. Okay. And then we have this, which is index 1. And then we need the last character, which is, I mean, I can just use -1, or I can use 1. Let's go -1 and be, actually, sorry, -2 and be fancy and see if that gives it to us. Is it actually telling me that's wrong? Okay, well, that would work if we did -2. I don't think I'm crazy. 1, 2, 1, -2. Oh, sorry, it's -1. I want the last character. Oh my gosh, I'm an idiot. Okay, well, let's go on to the next question. I guess I deserve that for trying to do that. Okay, what expression returns the list bar 2.718? So we need a slice here. So let's try this. That's going to be, again, x1, x2, x1. Or no, that would access Baz. So now we have this list, then we get this list. Now we just want the last two. So let's go with 1 colon, and there we go. Okay, nice. All right, select all of the following statements that remove the middle element 3 from A so that it equals 1, 2, 4, 5. Okay, so this is not going to do it. A 2 colon 3 equals an empty list. So 2 colon 3 would be this, not including that, so it's essentially just this, equals an empty list. I don't know if that's going to work. I know remove will work. I think that will work, but it's either this one or this one. It's one of these two I have to check. And then del A2 will work. So A2, 3. So if we have 2, 3, we're at this, going to this but not including it. So it's just this, and you're setting it to an empty list. But I think since it's a slice, that works. I think if you do A2 colon 2, then that's not going to do anything because, yeah, that seems like that's not going to do anything when you make that an empty list. Okay, let's try this. And okay, miracle. I really am forgetting what this 2 colon 2 does when you have like the same index on both sides. But let's see if there's another question like that. Okay, so list A is defined as follows. Which of the following statements adds D and E to the end of A so that it equals A, B, C, D, E? Okay, so extend will work to add DE. A at len A colon, so that's the last index of A. I think that's valid to use in a slice, but not for a normal index. Colon, so you're extending it by DE. I think that's going to work. Appending that will not work because it's a list, so that will actually add the list inside of this list, giving you a nested list. Adding a list will work. A -1 colon equals DE. -1 I think would start here and replace that, so I don't think that works. And then A plus DE. This is tricky because I don't know if plus equals DE. I think that will be treated as an iterable in Python, which means it would actually add each individual element, because when you're doing, for example, plus equals here with DE, it's extending. I think that works. Yeah, I think that works. I think that treats it as a list, or that's just an exception, or you can't do that at all. Let's try this. Shocking. Okay, we got it correct. Next question. All right, write a Python statement using the slice assignment that will fill in the missing values so A equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so we saw previously that to remove an element, we could use whatever the index of that element is, colon, the next index, and then that essentially replaced it with whatever we put. So I think I can use that same thing here to do something like A colon, and then I believe this is going to be 2 colon 3, same thing. We want the middle element here, right? And if I do 2, 3, I'm accessing this. And I'm going to replace that with something. So I think I need to make sure that I include my 7 in what I replace this with, unless I can do something like 2 colon 2, and that would insert after element 2. I think I'm going to go safe here and do 2 colon 3, and then just make this 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 like that, and then the 8 will be in there, because I think it will remove the 7 when I do that. Again, I think I could do, though, A2 colon 2. Let's try this though and see if that works. 3, 4, 5, 6. Code should include a slice assignment. Did I not do that? Would this not work? Does that not give me the correct result? I think what I did works. Okay, I guess it's saying though I only could use 3, 4, 5, 6. So I guess I should have done it the other way, but I think that this works. Someone can tell me in the comments, I guess, but I'm pretty sure that that's correct. Okay, next question. Suppose you have the following tuple definition, T equals foo bar baz. Which of the following statements replaces the second element bar with the string QUX? It's a trick question. Tuples can't be modified. I actually think that's correct because you can't do index assignment for tuples. So yeah, let's do that. Boom, trick question, got it. Next, all right, write Python code to create a tuple with a single element, the string foo, and assign it to a variable called T. Okay, T is equal to, and then there's multiple ways to do this, but I think I can just go foo like that. Tuple with a single element. I need to make sure I include the comma. That's probably why they have this question, because if you just wrap it in parentheses, it will just like evaluate the parentheses and give you foo. But if you do the comma, then it will be a tuple. I also think you could just do this and that would work too. But let's run that. And there we go. Nice. All right, next question. Consider the assignment statement ABC equals, oh gosh, okay. Following the execution of the statement, what is the value of B? Okay, so we have to go through the steps here on this and figure out what this is. So A is going to be 2, and then we need to step by 3. So 1, 2, 3. So that's 5. I think it's going to be 5 because this will give us a slice containing 2. 5, and 8. So I think 5 is correct, and there we go. All right, we're doing well on this one. Next question, assume x and y are assigned as follows. Okay. What is the effect on this statement? Oh my gosh. Oh, this is just a slice with yx. xy equals yx colon negative 1. That flips it, so it should they should be the same. Whenever you do colon negative 1, you're just going to reverse this. So if you have yx, you're going to get xy. So x is going to be equal to x, and y is going to be equal to y, meaning they should just be the same. So 5 and negative 5, they're unchanged. Boom. Okay. Complete quiz. And how many did we get wrong? We got 2 questions wrong, and one of them I think we got correct. So pretty good. I'm going to call that 91%, not 81%. And I think I probably have enough time to do one more. So let me go back to the home page there. Maybe I'll find a short one, and then we'll go from there. All right, so I found a short one, but I don't know if it's going to take us less time because it is threading, which is a lot more complicated. But let's try this. It's 6 questions. Let's give this one a shot. Again, this will probably be much more complicated than the other ones. So what does threading.lock do? No, it does not shift to all caps. Synchronize threads, allow only one thread at a time to access a resource. That's pretty well what the lock is meant for. So, it's okay. I thought that was just multiple choice. Synchronize threads as well. Okay, that's fine. How many CPUs or cores will the Python threading library take advantage of simultaneously? The answer is 1. Yes, unfortunately, there's a global interpreter lock in Python, meaning you can only use 1 core of your CPU, even if you have like a 12-core CPU or something ridiculous like that. Okay, what does the thread.join method do? Thread.join, I think that means you're waiting for this thread to finish. Wait for the thread to finish. Yes. Okay, nice. Not so hard now. Race conditions are not something you should add to your code. 2 threads incorrectly accessing a shared resource. The weather on a race day, testing which thread completes first. I think it's this one. Nice. Okay. This is actually surprisingly easier than the other one. Why is it a good idea to use the thread pool executor as a context manager when you can? It passes exceptions back to the main program. It manages the startup of all threads and waits for them all to complete. It looks better. It prevents threads from having race conditions. I don't think it would prevent race conditions. The exceptions are actually interesting. I've never used the thread pool executor, so I'm essentially guessing between the first 2 here. It manages the startup of all threads and waits for them all to complete. I don't know if it would do that. Thread pool executor. You have a pool of threads. I don't know. My feeling is this one, but it could be the exception too. So let's try this. And there you go. Okay. All right. And we're almost done here. True or false? Once you start a threading.timer, you cannot stop it until it expires. Again, I've never used this before, so I have no idea. I'm going to imagine that the threading.timer, it's just a timer. I'm going to imagine you can't stop it, but if an exception occurred, that would stop it, right? Let's go with true. And it's false. Okay, of course you can stop it with cancel. All right, and a nice 4 out of 6, 66%. All right, guys, I think with that, I am going to wrap up the video here. Again, let me know what you think of these quizzes. Honestly, they're pretty easy for me to film, and I've been feeling a bit ill recently, so I'm trying to get some easier videos out for you. Anyways, I think they're interesting, definitely very challenging. I'm learning some stuff from them, and hopefully you guys are as well. With that said, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one.